Hello, Aries. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Aries is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And a Six of Pentacles. This is material success. This is a card of, sometimes it's a card of being part of a group, being valued for what we contribute to a certain industry, a certain field, a certain company, a certain group of people, a certain friend group, family maybe. But it's regarding our contribution, what we're creating. Okay, so you may be part of some kind of a field, of an industry, a niche, something like that, right? But this is that card that says you are, right now, you're goal-oriented. You have particular things that you want to see, that you want to achieve, right? I think things that would let you know, okay, I've made it, you know. I think you're somebody who is starting to see like the light at the end of the tunnel. Or perhaps you can't, and that's what this card is here to show you, is that there is light at the end of the tunnel. What you've been working so hard to achieve is right around the corner, okay? This looks like that light. And maybe you haven't really been able to see it, you know, that we kind of feel, maybe you feel that all of your work is still kind of up in the air. The dice are still rolling down the table. We don't know how the chips are going to land or the dice are going to, we don't know what numbers are going to come up. Anytime I get like a 5, 6, or 7 of Pentacles, I always think about rolling the dice. Because I think the 5 is the dice in motion and how they stop when they stop moving. And you look at the dice and you see what they are. It's either going to be what we wanted to see or not so much. This 6 is what we wanted to see. So I think this is a very good omen for you. And I think that we got to put this card into a little bit of context, okay? Maybe we'll see what came before this, what's coming after this, and what this is all about. We see a hanged man, okay? We see a lot of suffering and sacrifice for this work that you've been doing. And when I say work, I don't mean what you do for money necessarily. I mean your toil, your daily work, your great work, your magnum opus. Kind of basically like whatever you're burning calories doing every day. Maybe you're in school, maybe you're retired, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't just have to be, the job. Anyway, 3 of Wands, very good. 10 of Swords, interesting. 2 of Cups, yes. And 2 of Swords. You're going to have to choose what to do next. Okay? I think the Hanged Man is a very important energy here because it really is the center of all of this, and that is your sacrifice. That is how much you have put into this of your own soul, how much you've invested, time, effort, energy, and or money that you put into something. Okay, and in a way, once we roll the dice, you have to surrender to all of the forces that are controlling those dice, controlling the dice after they leave your hand. I was going to say dices. Controlling the dice after they leave your hand. Because while you're shaking the dice and as you're rolling them, it's up to you. Once you let go and they're tumbling down the table, hanged man, it's hands off, right? It's not up to me anymore. So that's kind of, I think that's the state you're in. I think things are going to really succeed here for you. Yeah. Let's continue. Let's put the rest of our cards on the table. We have the Hierophant. We have your Aries power card. One of them anyway, the Knight of Wands, cardinal fire energy. Represents the Aries energy in motion. And we have a 10 of Pentacles. Beautiful. And another Taurus energy, a Prince of Discs. Taurus and the Hierophant, Taurus and the Prince of Discs. I would watch the Taurus reading if I were you, okay? Maybe the last one that we did would be more appropriate. We haven't done the next one yet, right? It's coming next after I film this, then comes the Taurus one. So I would watch maybe the last Taurus reading that came out, but then perhaps the next one too, okay? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right over here. We're going to put, no, not Dwight K. Schrute this time. Let's move over to, let's do Mr. Ed, our little horse right there on top. We're not going to look at that card, of course, until the end of the reading, right? But it will hopefully tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay. Now, Spirit's saying something that you like to swim, or you've been doing a lot of swimming lately, or there's some specific memory about you swimming recently. Yeah. Anyway, let's look around the room. We see two major arcana energies. We see the Hanged Man and the Hierophant, okay? Which I think is, they're very important cards, not only because they're major arcana, but because of kind of where they are, It seems that you've been in service to your higher self in a way. The Hierophant here in your general energy is a really a wonderful place for this, because it shows there's this inner wisdom, there's this inner knowing. It's almost as if you have the expertise that you need, okay? And so there's kind of like a calm certainty, or like a confidence that's just like you rolled the dice and you're just thinking, I know how this is going to turn out. I know it's going to be okay, So there's that part of you, though, because I really don't see you worried about it. Even though maybe, like I said at the beginning, maybe you can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. I feel like you know it's coming. So I feel like there's a pretty like relaxed energy about you right now. Because you're just kind of resigned yourself to say, you've done everything you could. You did the best possible job that you could have done. And now it's not up to you. And so you're not worried, you're not freaking out, right? Because there's nothing you could have done differently. We're freaking out when we think, oh gosh, I could have done better, I could have studied more, I could have worked harder, No, I think you're like, I did the very best that I could do. You're very satisfied with the effort that you put in. Yeah. And so now it's just Hanged Man, go with the flow, whatever happens, happens. I think something really, really good is happening. But anyway, we have fire, you got water, you've got air, and you've got earth, and earth. A lot of earth cards here. Something on the material plane. I feel this is, it feels like it's something kind of business or work related, or again, something that you're burning calories doing every day. Something that you want to see. There's a particular outcome that you want to see, right? The bird feeder hanging from the tree. Is that new, or did that break, or did that something funny about the bird feeder, like maybe like a squirrel that got in there or something kind of funny about the bird feeder? Yeah. Anyway, the Hanged Man as our second position card, in conjunction with the success here. I think that, first of all, the success is not just for you. I think that you have been sacrificing and suffering and surrendering to a bigger picture. Okay, I think that whatever you're producing, it's kind of like you're not just going to keep it all for yourself. Oh, I got the money. I feel that there's a group of people, or there's some way that you're giving back to the world through this work. Okay, because I feel that the Hanged Man is a rather selfless energy. It's kind of, to me, it goes hand in hand with the Empress, really, right? Well, technically it goes literally hand in hand with the High Priestess. I think that your intuition brought you here and told you that you may have to suffer for a long time, but it'll be worth it. Okay, and you trusted that, you believed in that, and you said, okay, well, I don't want to suffer, but if it's for a good cause, you know. But as far as the Empress goes, the Empress is the one that is bringing something into its orbit and feeding it from its own energy, you see. And what it's feeding is, of course, the hanged man energy, which is the suffering and the sacrifice. You're giving of yourself to something in order for it to grow and be nurtured and nourished, and for it to mature and for it to blossom and become what it's meant to become, to reach its fulfillment. Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of your attitude, almost as if you're doing this because it's your duty, because it's your love, because that's what you want to do, that's what you've been called upon to do with your life. It's not about what you're doing or what the results are. I feel like you're identifying with the how and the why. I say that a lot on this channel, and I think it's so important. It's what we do, our identity in life, who we are, why we're here. It's not about what we're doing. It doesn't matter what the Six of Pentacles are. It doesn't matter what the Prince of Pentacles is building. It doesn't matter what your ideal outcome or your best life or your future sort of the future progress looks like. It's about why you're even doing it and how you're doing it. You're doing it with a selfless self-sacrifice kind of energy. You're doing it for the benefit of everybody around you, not just for you. Why are you doing it? Well, you love it. I know that. Is it for a human connection? Are you doing something not because I want to get the money so I can buy myself a nice watch that doesn't, you know, that works maybe. And actually, I made a video about the watch. If you want to know about the watch I wear, I'm never going to get rid of this thing. I'll tell you that. It doesn't work, but I'm never going to throw it away. Never going to fix it either. The why behind it all. Okay? Maybe you realize that what you're doing because it connects you with other people. Maybe it's because of the emotional bond that you create while you're doing this. Maybe you're doing some music. It's not about getting famous and being on stage, getting the audience. Maybe it's about the emotional, like electricity between you and the rest of the musical ensemble, your jazz quartet or something, or your rock and roll band. Yeah. Maybe it is something that you're doing that maybe you work for a business or for a company. And yeah, you're doing it for money. You're going to want to get paid for it, of course. But that's not really why you're doing it, you know? And so we're identifying not so much with the work itself or with the outcome. I do the work, I get paid. Okay, good. But what's the deeper identification? Well, that really, I should be holding up the Three of Wands underneath the surface, because this is that inner identity. This is the why. Part of the how and part of the why. I think the top and bottom cards, inside, outside, right? These cards here are the how and the why cards. Both of them. How and why, how and why. This is maybe a hidden reason why. This is part of your concealed identity. And it may be that you know, outwardly, you're just like, yeah, I'm here, I'm going to kick some butt, I'm going to get the money, I'm going to win, I'm going to do a good job, and, you know, but secretly, right, secretly you're doing it because you feel a very strong, you know, perhaps emotional or spiritual connection with the work itself, or with the people around you, or with the clients or the customers or people on the other side, you know, because I think there is that intimacy about it. It may be glamorous on the outside, but on the inside, it's because of that deeper, you know, emotional, spiritual bond and connection. So this is part of our identity. Now, I guess the question is, you know, what do you feel that you're consciously identified with? Are we what we're doing? You know, when you talk to you, oh, what do you do for a living? You know, we ask that question. What do you do? We always talk about the what. What do you do? What are your days like? What are your activities? What are your hobbies? And we get a list of all these superficial things. So I'm a content creator. I do tarot readings on YouTube. I have a couple other channels. I'm a father. All these whats, all these, you know, I like to play the drums and all this stuff. It's like, those are the what. It's just a list of things that I'm doing that are just pentacles. It's just a bunch of pentacles. And you're just showing people these pentacles, and it's just saying, okay, that's a fine question to ask, but this card, the Three of Wands, this is about your identity. Okay? And it really, I think the question that we're trying to ask is, why do you do those things? Or how do you do them? You know? Why? And I always say that on the show. It doesn't matter what you're doing. What matters is how and why. Because in the realistic view of the world, what we're doing is going to, it's going to be varied. It's going to be different every day, different things. It's 100 different things. You're not what you're doing. Okay? What we're doing is going to change over time. We're not just all doing one thing, first of all, but then also what we're doing is going to change. What if somehow your priorities in life shift and you're not playing the drums anymore, or you don't have that same job anymore? Then what? Do we lose I lost the job, I lost the identity? No, because it wasn't about the outer appearance of something. There's something deeper there for you. So there's a connection with why you identify with something that goes beneath the surface of just, of what you're doing and what the results are going to be beyond the physical plane. So we have a lot of we have a lot of the earth cards here, right? Because these earth cards are about, the superficial process, what you're doing, and what the results of it are going to be. Okay? But there's also these questions of how and why, right? Especially the water and the air, the Two of Cups and the Two of Swords, because I kind of feel like what you're doing now, when it reaches a culmination and you get the win, you get the money, right? Whatever it is. The Hanged Man is kind of in a way saying, now what? Now it's like I've completed that project, and now it's over, and now what? Am I just going to repeat it? Do we do the same thing again? Not maybe not, because it's not about what you're doing. It's about how and why. So we're kind of making another choice here. I think with the Two of Swords in the future position, you're being called upon to choose not just another thing that's going to be, okay, well, I'm a YouTube tarot reader, so it means that I have to keep, that's what I need to keep doing. And I have to keep doing that, for the foreseeable future, and that's going to be that. That it's already an established path. Okay? And yes, maybe that's going to be true. Maybe you're going to find another place to do the exact same thing. Maybe it is, the what is going to stay the same. It could be. But I think with the Two of Swords, you have to ask, why? Why do you, what path am I going to choose? Not based on the physical appearance of it, but based on the identity and the love and the why, the how and the why. Does that make sense? Because I feel that you're kind of you're coming to a culmination of this current path. I feel like this is the sweet spot with the Six of Pentacles, the sweet spot, the perfect moment, just the delicious moment. And then after this, I wonder if you're going to have to reevaluate your how and your why. Is this something you want to keep doing? Or was this the peak experience of it, and now it's kind of moving on, following your heart and following your spirit, not following, not trying to continue doing the same thing because you're so identified with the what, you see? So in the background, we have a Ten of Swords. This to me is a birdcage. To me, it feels like you've gotten out of the birdcage, because this may have been a life where you were very identified with what you were doing. I'm a musician, darn it. I'm a drummer. I work in the business field of some kind. I don't know. And so when things don't work out so well in that field, we lose that sense of identity. I think this is where you realize that the superficial trappings of something, the pentacles themselves, just pentacles alone, are empty. The what that we're doing doesn't mean anything. It's all Maya, it's all illusion, right? We have to give it meaning. If we don't find meaning in what we're doing, the how and the why, if we don't locate what is deeper, if we are just attracted to the outer superficial appearance of something, and we don't understand why we want to do this particular thing, or let's say this particular thing, and we get stuck on the outer form, I think we may end up really lost when that outer form changes, as it will. It will change. Things in the material world will change. Okay, and if we keep trying to continue to do the same thing, like I know somebody that's had a job, same company, for a long time. They had the same job for 20 years. They're my age, so old, but not that old. They've had the same job for 20 years. Things started changing at that job. The management was different. The company was going in a different direction. It just became kind of not so fun. They stayed in that same industry. They said, okay, well, I'm just going to go work at another company doing the exact same thing. They were very identified with what they were doing. Okay, and eventually they realized why they were doing that same thing. Was it out of, was it some kind of, it was just a pattern, it was habit? Okay, so closely identified with what you're doing because don't know what else there is. Don't know who I am all the way. So I'm just trying to find something to cling to. Or was there something deeper about that particular job or career or that particular industry or that field of work that was meaningful? Okay. And I think that's what we have to search for a little bit. We have to understand why we're doing something in order to understand kind of what to do next, because I feel like a choice is coming for you with that Two of Swords. So up here, this I think was a realization that you can't just focus on the outer appearance of something because you're gonna find that it's empty. If this is all we care about or all we identify with, I think it's going to be bad news. I feel like the Ten of Swords here was that moment where you realized, and maybe this means that you switched industries, or you, perhaps not, perhaps you didn't switch industries, but perhaps you found what was deeper. You moved beyond the superficial, and you identified, you located it, it's a eureka moment. You've discovered why you want to do this particular kind of thing. Whether it's work, at home, at school, whether you're retired, it doesn't matter. But you've understood why you want to do that. And that's the Two of Cups. So I feel like you're not doing it for the money. That's the physical thing. You put in effort, you get some kind of, physical reward out of it, right? And not necessarily money, but like the physical result. Okay. I mean, that's the way it's a cause and effect, yeah. But the deeper reason why you're doing this is for love. For love, right? Self-love, divine love, platonic love, romantic love, the interpersonal connections. Maybe you're doing it because you've realized that you like the one-on-one interaction with people. You like really getting to know somebody and feeling like a bond with somebody, right? Which then means that once you identify this, what that love is, because this is the why. You can take this why and do anything else. You can go to business, you can go to music, you can go to medicine, you can go to, construction, you can go anywhere. Because this exists beyond the physical manifestation, it exists beyond just the superficial appearance. So I think you're somebody that's doing this because of love. And you're identifying not with the physical, physical effort, physical reward. You're identifying with the love, the deeper reason why you want to do the particular thing you're doing. Maybe it's that you find that you love performance. Okay, well, it doesn't mean it has to be a particular kind of performance. We're extrapolating from the very specific to the very general. Like you're playing drums. Okay, why? What is it about the drums? Maybe it's the physical movement. Maybe it's music. Maybe it is like being on stage performance kind of thing. Maybe it's the emotional connection with yourself or the emotional connection with your bandmates or with the audience. You can have that in a lot of different ways, even if being that drummer in that band doesn't work out. You see? And that's the Two of Cups. That's what the love is. And I think for you, it is because there's that emotional bond between you and in it. either the client, the customer, or between you and the work itself, or between you and the music, but it's because of that emotion. And that I think that love emotion transcends the physical act that is connected to it, you know. So in the future position, the Two of Swords, I feel like you're going to have to make a decision whether or not, after that Six of Pentacles happens, that big culmination, that big win, yeah, how your life's going to change. Are you going to continue doing that same work because you still have that love connection with it or with the client or whatever? Or are you deciding that your heart, your intuition is maybe taking you with that identity and that love somewhere else to do something else now? I feel like your life is about to change in a very big way. Because I wonder if this is a culmination, but it's kind of like saying, repeating the same work again is not going to give you the same feeling. And so it may be that the physical manifestation of this identity and this love is changing a little bit. And so you're going to have to navigate that course. Okay. Path of the Serpent. Let's talk about the cards over here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The Hierophant is your general energy. We started the reading saying that you're very confident that this is going to work out. And I think that this is literally a card that's saying you know how to build the thing you're building. I think on a material plane, you're not really worried about anything. I think you're almost like just kind of sitting there with a smile because things are going to turn out however they turn out, but you're in this state of bliss because you're doing the thing that you love to do. Okay, it's kind of like you're on stage and you're having that emotional experience playing the music. It doesn't really matter, let's say, how well the album is selling. It doesn't matter really, like if the next gig is booked already, or we're not really worried about the future. We're existing in the moment. Yeah. I think that you have a type of wisdom about you that knows that if you do your very best work and you're connected and you identify that deeper part of you in whatever you're doing, the results are going to be fine. They're going to take care of themselves. Yeah. This is a card also as a general energy. It shows that you have a lot of wisdom to share. And so I don't know if between this, your identity, and your sort of your how and why, I wonder if you are some kind of a healer or a counselor or a therapist, or maybe a psychologist or somebody that helps people one-on-one. You could be a financial advisor. You could be a consultant in a business or something. But I feel like it's that intimate connection that you have sharing your wisdom or even helping somebody else. This is the card, you have the teacher and all that stuff. But really, this is somebody that is trying to help somebody else. Trying to say that you have something that can benefit other people and you're there applying that. Because it really, that's the why, because you love that connection with somebody where it's kind of like we're bonding in a really personal way as we help each other, or as you're there, being a consultant or a therapist or a teacher or a mentor or something like that to other people, to your clients or to your friends, or, really this could be like that you're tending to a garden of some kind. Maybe literally, maybe just figuratively. Okay. It could be, I almost think that you do something in finance. Yeah. Anyway. The next card is your Knight of Wands. The Knights are all about beginnings. Okay. And it feels like this is, it may not be that you're switching industries, that you're thinking, well, now I can't be the financial consultant. I'm going to go and have that same intimate experience being a doctor or something, right? I wonder if this is kind of like this one job is over, and this is you then kind of moving into the next customer, the next client. You're still the same person, the same consultant, right? But you're moving on to the next contract, the next customer, the next person. Okay, it's kind of, or maybe it's like your next patient. It's time for the next patient to arrive, that sort of thing. Because this is you then kind of moving automatically into whatever is next from this. So I don't know with the Two of Swords if it is necessarily a big career change or like kind of changing the what that you're doing in such a big way. But I think it is changing, perhaps not as like, you're quitting your job, you're going to go work somewhere else and do something. It may not be a big career pivot, but it might be that kind of change on a smaller scale. That's like, okay, this particular contract is done, and now I'm moving on to the next contract. If you're the builder, right, our Prince of Pentacles, it's basically saying that, look, you're done building this house, okay? And then the Knight of Wands is then moving on to the next house, somewhere else, a different town, a different city, a different customer, and you're going to build that house now. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same but different. Yeah. And the Ten of Pentacles, I think, is really this idea of your best life. That this is the picture of your best life. And this is, of course, your pets, your plants, your people. This is like, get out a sheet of paper, draw a picture of your best life. Draw it in pencil. Because it's going to change and it's going to evolve. And what your long-term goals are and what the appearance, what the ideal appearance of your life. This is like what kind of wallpaper you have. This is the type of carpet, the type of furniture that's in there. Okay, that's not really what makes you happy, though. It's not the wallpaper. It's not, maybe you're going for a certain vibe. You're trying to cultivate a particular vibe, but you have to know, why do you want that furniture? Why do you want that vibe? Okay, so it's not what you're doing, but it's why. And so the reason that this card is in the position of the anxiety, fear, worry, concern is because we don't want to end up with an empty house, I think that this is a life or a future that we want it to be filled with purpose and meaning, not just empty shells. It doesn't matter how good you are at doing what you do, if there's nothing beyond that superficial appearance, it's going to be another desiccated, dry, desiccated, meaningless kind of thing. Because the pentacles have to contain the water, right, and the fire. But particularly the water. The pentacles are the vessel itself, and the cups are like the water in the vessel. We don't want this to be an empty vessel. So that's your fear. And so we're taking a moment to reflect. Perhaps as we get done building this house, we take a moment to reflect on the meaning of it, and reinforce this identity that we have, not with the superficial appearance of it, not with what we're doing, but we reinforce the identity of how and why we do what we do. See, when I do these tarot readings, it's not about tarot. It's not about literally like, the YouTube channel and making a living and all that stuff. That stuff's important, of course, right? That's on a very, very earthy kind of way. That's the cause and effect. I want to do a good job and I want to get paid so I can support my family, of course. But that's not the how and why, right? I do it because, really for me as well, it's because of the Two of Cups. I've always really enjoyed sharing on a one-on-one basis with people. And I feel like this is just me and you talking here. This is what really makes my life feel like it has meaning. This is what I'm choosing to identify with, you see. Of course, it's about the money and all that stuff too, but this is the core identity. And this kind of thing, this is why I like to play the drums. This is why I wanted to go into healthcare. This is why whatever I do next or later on in my life, in addition to YouTube, I'm not going anywhere, whatever else I do has to have this kind of aspect to it. It has to have this one-on-one connection aspect of it, okay? And that's why with healthcare, that's why I liked being the EMT for the short time that I was an EMT, because I got to help people one-on-one. That's why I've always wanted to go into psychology. I wanted to be able to help people one-on-one, okay? And so I feel like that's kind of what it is for you. Otherwise, if we don't identify that deeper meaning, okay, and if we don't remind ourselves of it every once in a while, then what we're doing is going to feel empty. Okay. So what you have next as your destiny card is your builder, your Prince of Pentacles. And I think that this is you going on and continuing to build whatever the next structure of your life is, making sure that you're doing it with purpose and meaning. Okay? I think this is going to be a real success. And it feels kind of like the reading shifted a little bit. Let's bring it back to the success. This is material success. What you're doing is going to work. You're going to get paid very well for it. And you're going to have the option then to decide what to do after. Make sure you do something that has meaning and purpose. Okay? So that it doesn't feel empty. Let's look at the mystery card. What do we think it's going to be? Well, I think it's going to be maybe like, what if it's like a 9 or a 10 of cups? You know? I guess it could be, well, to bring it back to the beginning, it could be a Wheel of Fortune. Because like I said, it's like you've thrown the dice are in motion. You're not worried about the outcome. It's like you're not even looking, the dice are rolling, you're not even looking at the dice. It's because you're doing what you love to do. You're not identified so heavily with the outcome or with the material part of it. You're identified with that feeling, that deeper why, the purpose of it, you know? And so I do want to see that everything is going to work out, you know, that the dice are going to land the way you want them to. So I would like to see either some more pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, or some water energy. Let's see what we have. Oh yeah, look at that. Wheel of Fortune, beautiful. This is great fortune. This is a Jupiter energy. This is expansion. This is really good luck, right? This is kind of like saying, once the dice leave your hand, it's all up to chance. It's all up to the universe if those dice land the right way or the wrong way for you. They're landing the right way. You have your 6 of Pentacles. You have your 10 of Pentacles. You have your Prince of Pentacles that's saying the dice are going to land in your favor. You have to make the choice if you're going to roll them again or go play a different game. This is expansion. This is growth. I feel like this is great fortune. I feel like your life is about to change because it's getting bigger. You're expanding. Your love, you know, like it's getting deeper. Your experience of this life is getting more rich and more fulfilled. Yeah. I think everything in your life is going to get better. And I think it's a good thing, too. Sometimes this card, especially with the Hanged Man, it may be that you've been at the bottom of the wheel, you know, for a while, you know, between the rubber and the road. Things are turning around. This is a lot of good luck coming your way. And I think we create good luck when we're not so much identified or fixated on the outcome or on the what. I think good luck happens when we're more focused on the why and the how. I'm doing something the very best that I can. I'm to the best of my ability. I'm working as hard as I can. I'm trying to do a good job. And the why, I'm doing it because I love it. I'm connected to it, and I like the intimacy. I like the connection with other people. Focus on those, and I think the universe tends to take care of you. Yeah, this is awesome. We're going to do an extended reading as well if you want to stick around. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Aries on Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.